All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're exploring something that's become a bit of a legend in the Bitcoin world, HODL. Holding onto your Bitcoin for dear life, even when the market's going crazy.
Yeah, HODL, that glorious misspelling of hold. It's become a meme, a rallying cry, and for some, a full-blown investment strategy.
Exactly. And it's more than just a funny typo. It really gets to the heart of what it means to be a Bitcoin believer.
Right, it's a window into the psychology of Bitcoin investing and the unique community that's sprung up around it.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a deep dive into the origins of this term, what it means in practice, and why it's become so deeply intertwined with Bitcoin.
Sounds good.
So let's start at the beginning. Where did this whole HODL thing come from?
Well, the story starts back in 2013 on a Bitcoin forum called Bitcoin Talk,
Bitcoin Talk, got it.
right in the middle of a pretty dramatic Bitcoin price crash.
Oh, so things are getting a little heated, people are panicking.
Yeah, you could say that. The price of Bitcoin was basically in free fall, and everyone was trying to figure out what to do.
Classic FUD, right?
Yeah.
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Exactly. And into this chaotic scene steps a user named GameCube. He was clearly feeling the pressure of the market crash and decided to post this, well, rather passionate rant about his struggles with Bitcoin trading.
Okay, a passionate rant, I like it.
But here's the thing. In his haste, or maybe because he'd had a few too many drinks, he misspells hold as, you guessed it, HODL.
Ah, yes, the birth of a legend.
And to make it even better, the title of his post was Pure Gold, I am hodling.
I am hodling. Amazing. So it all started with a typo, a drunken typo.
Yeah, pretty much. But what's remarkable is that it wasn't just a funny internet moment. It really tapped into something deeper within the Bitcoin community.
What do you mean?
Well, it became this rallying cry for those who truly believed in Bitcoin's long-term potential. It was a way of saying, hey, I'm not giving into the panic. I'm in this for the long haul.
I see. So it became a badge of honor, a symbol of resilience.
Exactly. And that's why it resonated so strongly, especially with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is notorious for its wild price swings.
Oh, absolutely. It's not for the faint of heart.
Not at all. And HODL emerged as a way to cope with those insane drops, a psychological defense mechanism, you could say.
So instead of freaking out and selling everything when the price dips, you just HODL and weather the storm.
Precisely. It's about ignoring the noise, detaching from the emotional roller coaster of short-term trading, and trusting that in the long run, Bitcoin will come out on top.
It's a long game strategy.
Right.
A belief that the value will eventually rise.
Exactly. It's a commitment to the future of Bitcoin, and it's a stark contrast to the world of day trading, where the goal is to make quick profits by capitalizing on those short-term fluctuations.
Yeah, it's a completely different mindset. HODL is about patience, conviction, and maybe a little bit of stubbornness.
Absolutely, and those qualities are highly valued in the Bitcoin community.
So we've talked about the humor, the resilience, the almost philosophical underpinnings of HODL. But let's get practical for a second. What does it actually look like to HODL Bitcoin? I mean, what are people actually doing?
Well, at its core, hodling is simply buying Bitcoin and holding onto it for a long period, ideally years, regardless of what happens to the price.
So you're resisting the urge to sell when the price drops, but you're also not getting caught up in the hype when the price shoots up.
Right. You're not chasing quick profits. You're in it for the long game, believing that the value of Bitcoin will ultimately increase over time.
So it's kind of like the buy and hold strategy you see in traditional investing, but with a Bitcoin twist.
You could say that, but the difference is the volatility. Bitcoin is way more volatile than, say, stocks or bonds. So hodling Bitcoin requires a much higher tolerance for risk.
Yeah, you have to be comfortable with the idea that your investment could go up or down significantly in a short period.
Exactly. It's not for everyone. It takes a certain mindset, a willingness to embrace uncertainty.
It's almost like a test of faith, a commitment to the idea that Bitcoin is more than just another investment. It's a revolutionary technology with the potential to change the world.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. And that's what makes HODL so fascinating. It's as much about psychology and belief as it is about investment strategy.
It's interesting though, right? You hear HODL all the time in the crypto world, but it seems like it's most closely linked with Bitcoin. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, I think there is. While you definitely see HODL used for other cryptocurrencies, it's got its roots deep in Bitcoin culture.
Why is that?
Well, for one, Bitcoin was the first, right? It's got the longest history, the biggest community, and let's be honest, the wildest price swings we've seen.
Definitely been a roller coaster ride.
Oh, for sure. And that crazy volatility, like we talked about, That's what really birthed the whole HODL idea in the first place.
Makes sense. So it was born out of necessity, almost, just to handle those Bitcoin ups and downs.
Exactly. But it's more than just surviving, though. HODL kind of feeds into this core belief a lot of Bitcoin people have that it's not just some investment, it's going to change things, like revolutionary.
So it's almost a statement, like you're showing faith in Bitcoin's future, not just trying to get rich quick.
That's a great way to put it.
Oh,
ODling Bitcoin, it's participating in this revolution, helping it grow, and yeah, maybe you benefit big time down the road because of it.
So not about quick cash, but being part of something way bigger.
That's it. And that brings us to another piece of HODL, the community.
Oh, right. It's not just a lone wolf thing, is it?
Nope, not at all. HODL created this feeling of togetherness among Bitcoin folks, shared beliefs, almost their own language, even a little friendly competition with people who trade all the time.
So like a club almost. Bitcoin believers united by this HODL thing.
Exactly. And that shared identity, it's powerful stuff. Support when the price tanks, huge excitement when it booms, and reinforces that feeling they're on the winning side of history.
Wow, so there's this whole psychological, social side to it. Like the more people HODL, the stronger that feeling of community gets, right?
You got it. Becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, kinda. All those hodlers believing it can actually move the price, especially in the short term.
That's wild. Is that what people mean when they talk about the HODL wall?
That's it. The HODL wall is all that Bitcoin held by people who won't sell, even if the price goes up a lot. It's like this resistance level in the market makes it tougher for the price to drop hard.
Like force field, protecting Bitcoin from crashing.
It is. Shows you the power of believing and community, how it can shape a market like crypto, which is all decentralized.
Okay, we've covered a ton. Origins, the psychology, the community, even how it affects the market. But let's be real. Is HODLing Bitcoin actually smart? Sounds good in theory, but are there any downsides?
$1 million question, right? Like anything you invest in, HODling has its risks and rewards.
Okay, let's talk about the risks. What are some of the downsides?
Well, first off, like we said, Bitcoin's crazy volatile. Even if you're in it for the long haul, those price swings can be rough.
Gotta have nerves of steel and a lot of patience.
That's key. Can't let the dips freak you out.
Easier said than done, I bet.
Yeah.
Especially when you see your investment value plummeting.
It takes discipline, for sure. That's one of the toughest things about HODLing, the mental game.
Right. Easy to get FOMO, the fear of missing out. When you see others making money by trading in and out.
You said it, and there's always that chance you miss out on something better by holding Bitcoin for too long.
So it's about balance.
Yeah.
Believing in Bitcoin, but being flexible too.
Exactly. Do your research, know the risks, and make sure HODLing fits your goals and how much risk you're okay with.
And having an exit strategy's got to be important too, right? Like knowing when to take profits or diversify.
Great point. HODLing doesn't mean you hold forever. It's about having that long-term view, but also being smart about your money and changing things up as needed.
So HODL is more than just a meme or a strategy. It's like a whole social phenomenon.
It really is. And, I think it points to something bigger we're seeing in investing in general, the power of community, of shared stories and beliefs.
That's interesting. What do you mean?
Well, think about it. Investing used to be this solo thing, all about numbers and charts and trying to get the most money.
Right, the classic image of the Wall Street guy, all stressed out, staring at screens.
Exactly. But now, with social media, online groups, it's getting more collaborative, more about emotions, too.
So less about cold, hard data, more about people believing the same thing and acting together.
Yeah, exactly. And HODL shows this perfectly. It's driven by faith in Bitcoin, just as much as by any smart analysis of the market.
So it's a mix of the emotional and the rational.
Totally. And that makes it so fascinating to study, both for people who HODL and for, folks like me who look at it from a social science angle.
It's like a big social experiment happening right in front of us.
You could say that. And it makes you wonder, will we see more things like HODL pop up for other stuff people invest in? Will community, these shared stories, keep influencing markets even more?
Great questions. Makes you realize, no matter how you invest, understanding the psychology of it all is super important.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, we're all human, right? Our choices are affected by emotions, biases, what people around us are doing.
So even if you never touch Bitcoin, knowing about HODL can teach you about your own investing habits.
For sure. It reminds us that the best investors aren't always the ones with fancy algorithms or tons of cash.
But the ones who can control their feelings, ride out the ups and downs, and stick to their beliefs even when the market's going crazy.
Well said. And that's the core lesson of HODL, the power of belief, of community, and yeah, maybe a little bit of stubbornness when things are uncertain.
And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of HODL.
It's been a wild ride for sure. We've gone from its funny beginning to how it's become a real investment philosophy and its huge impact on the Bitcoin world.
We dug into the psychology, the risks and rewards, and how it connects to these bigger trends in investing as a whole.
Hopefully you've learned a thing or two about HODL, and you see how complex the crypto market really is, with all these different forces at play.
And maybe you're even inspired to think about your own approach to investing. Find what works for you.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and stay curious about what's changing the world of finance.
And remember, whether you're a pro trader or just starting out, investing's full of surprises, just like that misspelled word that started it all, HODL.